Welcome, everyone, to It Tastes Different Gaming Appetizers. In this episode, Shane promises to be good because we're going to talk about his favorite thing of all time, his favorite topic. We're going to talk about EA, but maybe it's a good thing this time because we're going to talk about EA possibly releasing Fallen Order 2. So a new Star Wars game, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order 2. There was big speculation that they weren't going to release another part 2 because the first one came out in 2019. We've not heard anything. And then nothing was shown at their games conference and all that stuff last year. And then Andrew Wilson said during their earnings call, he kind of dropped a little tidbit that people are picking up on. So it's not confirmed. It's all complete rumors at this time. But, with them losing the sole proprietor of the license for Star Wars, most people, including myself, probably thought they weren't going to be making any more, but they may have some more in the pipeline that I'm not aware of. But like I said, there was a great franchise. I loved it, played crap out of it. I know a lot of people did too. So let's see here. Shane, what do you think about this potential good news coming out of EA for a change? And remember, you promised to be good.
Yeah, it's good news. It is Fallen Order was fantastic. I mean, I don't think any of us could argue against that, except for maybe Russ. He's the oddball of the group, and he's the biggest Star Wars fan, so that was really weird. But it's good news. It's great that EA lost their proprietary rights to it, or however you want to phrase it. That's a great thing. We were all jumping for joy. I was flashing cops. I mean, it was fantastic to hear. But EA can still make the games, so as long as they get approval and whatnot. But they're not. Rumor is obviously they're not doing a Battlefield 3. The rumor wasn't for that. There wasn't for any other game. It was for a good game, a real good game. And that makes me happy. I want to see EA Remedy, was that, or not Remedy? God, who made that
Respawn?
Respawn, excuse me. Fantastic developers. So let Respawn do Respawn. And that's one thing I got to say. EA seems to have let Respawn do their thing since they acquired them. And that's great. So freaking keep your dirty hands off of them. Let them do what they do, and it's good for everybody. It's good for your fat wallets. It's good for stealing from our wallets, and but we're happy for that one. So I just hope that the rumor is true, and we get some sort of news here soon. What about you, Nick? How do you feel?
It's good for your health. Yeah. This is good. I mean, I enjoyed Fallen Order. I thought Fallen Order was a great Star Wars game since in a long time. We hadn't had a really good Star Wars game in a long time, and this was really up there. As well as EA Motive, which is this is not an EA Motive game. This is Respawn, like we said, but EA Motive made Squadrons, which was a great game as well. And so if these two, if EA wants to let Respawn and EA Motive make Star Wars games, that's great. And it's great to see that Fallen Order might get a number 2, because again, with Shane, Respawn's been great. I mean, Titanfall is a fantastic game, and Titanfall 2 and Jedi Fallen Order was a fantastic game. And so I'm looking forward to more of that from a developer that can really actually bring us a good Star Wars experience. And not just Respawn in this case, like I was talking about, EA Motive gave us a good Star Wars experience with Squadrons. I think Squadrons, it was kind of lacking in some areas, but ultimately it was a pretty good Star Wars game. So, and again, it's that type of thing where we haven't had a great Star Wars game in a long time. And it was great to have those kind of back to back from one another. And so, even though as much as we despise EA, they are doing some good things in that aspect, as well as allowing some two great developers to make Star Wars games. So, it's great. I'm glad that the Star Wars franchise has expanded to allow other developers to bring Star Wars games out, so we don't get all these, 1313 and all these other Star Wars games that we were looking forward to get canceled by EA. we can start looking forward to some great Star Wars games. So that's awesome. And I would love to see another Fallen Order. I was hoping for like some expansions or DLC for it. It had a little bit of DLC, but it wasn't anything. I think it was just like extra colors or something like that. It wasn't story expanding. So I would love to see the main protagonist carry on into Fallen Order 2, because I think they made a really great protagonist in that game. And ultimately, it was a really fun game and a really enjoyable experience. I loved it. So I'm all about more for Fallen Order 2 or any sort of Fallen Order expansion, or or even Respawn just doing something Star Wars, because Respawn's been a great company from the beginning. So more from them. But yeah, what do you think, Patrick?
Yeah, I mean, I like Fallen Order too, Fallen Order, excuse me, as well. And I mean, I had some critical things about the game, such as the having to go back to places you already been because you had new abilities so that you can solve the puzzle, those type of things. But that's a typical game. A lot of times I need force jump to get over there, or I force lightning to get this or that or whatever, or force pull or force push. That's pretty typical of these types of games. So it wasn't something I harped on too much. I did like that it was a really good single player experience, because I think that's what Star Wars games are. They're mostly built for a really good single player experience. I mean, even the MMO out there for Star Wars touts itself as an MMO, but the best parts of that game are the single player parts of it, where you play the storyline. So I do think that Star Wars tends to be a really better single player experience than a multiplayer experience. And if you want to play Jedis and junk like that. So I'm looking forward to it. I would really like to see Fallen Order 2. I mean, I'm not a big fan of parkour style games, but this game has parkour and I loved it. I'm like, it works. It just works for this game. And as Nick said, the protagonist Cal Kestis, I think is his name, is really good. It was a really good and intriguing story, and I played the crap out of it. I beat it. I tried to get all the achievements in it. That's how much I enjoyed it, even though I had to go back to areas I'd already been multiple times. So it was a good game, and I hope to see a part 2. It's all still, like, as we said, rumors. It was announced. It was not really announced. It was touted and kind of teased during their earnings call this year. So, because I mean, it's only been a year and a half, not quite 2 years. Game came out in 2019, I think, right? Like early 2019 or something like that. So, we haven't heard a whole lot since that one came out. I mean, I didn't even play the DLC, but I'm mostly anti-DLC.
Right. And they did do some updates to the next gen consoles, I think, for it too, where they did some upgrades for the next gen consoles, Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5, where there's some enhancements, I believe.
Yeah. And that was 2019 of November. So,
okay.
Well, like a year and a half. Close that 2 year
almost
mark,
2 years.
so.
Yeah.
But this is one of those rare games that EA didn't foobar. They didn't touch. They didn't, monetize whore the heck out of it. And thank you thank you, EA. I'm going to give you that credit. You didn't screw it up. Proud of you. That game is fantastic. Can't wait for a sequel.
Yeah, I agree. So, I mean, if this comes to fruition, that'd be great. I mean, I wouldn't see why they wouldn't do one. I think Fallen Order did pretty well. I don't know what their sales were for Fallen Order, but I know it was pretty high up there and praised as being a good Star Wars game and a good game in general. So I wouldn't see why EA would pass on making a Fallen Order 2 or anything like that. So, yeah, I mean, why not? If it did well and Respawn made a great game as they did, like I said, they've had a pretty good track record so far. So, let them make a Fallen Order 2, because I think it'll do very well.
Yeah, they sold 8 million copies from when I just Googled up. So they're almost, I'm going to air quote, almost, guaranteed to make another 8. I mean, that's a hell of a sales number. So, but let's just hope EA doesn't also take the success of it and try to monetize and manipulate it. So that's my only concern, because it's a great game. They let Respawn do what Respawn do, and hopefully they do it again.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, Shane, let Respawn do what it wants to do, because for EA, that should be a win-win, right? Respawn's knocked it out of the park since the beginning, since their inception. So just let them continue doing that, right? As EA, don't step in there. Just, okay, cool. I mean, you're knocking it out of the park each time, so let's just let you continue doing that.
Right. I mean, I'm probably going to be the first poo-pooer, but we all know how EA does, right? When they first buy a studio, they're like, "Oh, we love you. Here's a bunch of money. Do your thing." And Remedy did that. They put this game out, and now that they've been in their clutches for a while, I hope they don't do the typical EA thing. They're like, "Okay, you put out a really good game. We're not giving you any more money. We're going to put some walls up, and you have to meet these things before we'll give you more money." So that's their typical, which I hope not. So I really look forward to it. Want to see it. Want to see another one, and I want to see a good one. I don't want to see a EA blocked off, walled off game like we would normally see from them from a second game. Because, I mean, EA bought these guys in 2017, so I guarantee the game was well within development at that time. And then, because that's 2 years, game came out 2 years after they bought them. So I'm pretty sure the game was pretty far in development when EA came along, and they just flushed them with cash, which is what EA does with any new studio they buy. They just flush them with cash and say, "Continue to make your babies. We'll talk in a couple of years." They're the loan shark. They're going to come calling for their money.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. But, EA, came out, the other day saying, "Oh, we should get a little credit for acquisitions." And the world and reality, society, God himself said, "Shut the hell up, you liars." But they've done it in this case, though. They have done a good job with an acquisition. They let that acquisition do what they were bought to do. So in this very rare minimalistic instant, EA is doing great. I love that they're letting a great developer do different work and amazing work. So, and a sequel to this game would be just, fantastic.
Yep. Can't wait. I'm really looking forward to it. I shouldn't be looking forward to it, right? Because it's not officially announced. Just not officially announced. We are speculating, as everybody else is speculating right now, because of the earnings call that just happened. And we're all big fans. And as Shane pointed out earlier, Russ is the outlier. He's the hugest Star Wars fan of all of us, and he could not get into the game. He was like, "I just can't get into it." He's tried it multiple times, and it's not his game, which, in my opinion, it's up there with the style. It's not quite Jedi Academy level, but that's where I would put it, just like Red Alert Jedi Academy. If I was seeing like KOTOR, Knights of the Old Republic is like the epitome of what a great Star Wars game could be, and then Jedi Academy. This one's like right around that level, not quite as good, but not as bad as like the Battlefield games, the Star Wars Battlefield games, in my opinion. So those are pretty horrible.
Yeah, but think about it this way. It is a fantastic starting point for Respawn to look at what they did, look at the critiques and the positives, and come up with an outstanding sequel. They did that with Titanfall 2. Titanfall 1, it was kind of a new thing. It was online only, but there was story elements built into the online. But they came out with a sequel, Titanfall 2, and I don't know anybody who says anything bad about it. And if they do, they should have their nuts shaved with a cheese grater, because that game is fantastic. But I think Respawn's if they're doing it, they're gonna do it good, and they're gonna do it right.
I don't like Titanfall at all because I don't like PvP.
Titanfall 2? Did you not play Titanfall 2?
I played the story, and that was it, because
the
story was very short. The story was very short, though.
But the story was fantastic.
But it was short, so it wasn't worth the full price of a game.
I don't know. Me and Nick played the PvP.
I'm not a PvPer. I mean, it's a cool concept. You can run around in your mech, hop out of your mech, and get back in your mech, and your mech gets destroyed, and you can still run around and shoot people and hide in little cubby holes. I mean, it's a good concept, but I'm not a PvPer big time. But it wasn't worth the $60 to me, but Titanfall 2 wasn't. So because the single player content was pretty short. But what I'm most looking forward to is, as we all heard earlier, announcement that EA lost the exclusive rights to Star Wars games. If they're making another Star Wars game, great. But guess what? So are a bunch of other studios. So I am like, where's my Star Wars game? We're going to have like a year or two of like bam, bam, bam Star Wars games. And I'm salivating over the thought of that, of all those Star Wars games.
Yeah, me too. It just, I mean, there's so many rumors going around about, KOTOR remasters and I just, man, it's been a long time since we've had a good slate and of a Star Wars series of any kind. I mean, the Battlefronts now are crap. I don't like them at all. It's just because they're cash cows. But I can't wait to see what some of these companies do. But definitely look forward to the Fallen Order 2. Fallen Order 2, Fallen Again.
Yeah, Cal was they left the story open for continuation, in my opinion, because the game ended with still more things to worry about, because you end with Cal pretty much just kind of accomplishing a task with multiple tasks and the order still out there, doing what they're doing when they're not down.
Spoiler. God.
If you haven't played it, I didn't give away anything, because anybody that knows Star Wars knows the timeline.
Yeah.
Anybody else got anything they want on this one before we wrap it up? I mean, I want more Star Wars. Yay, more Star Wars.
I'm through.
Awesome. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and don't forget your lightsabers for the next episode. See you later. Catch you in the next one.
See ya.